Hello there, and thank you for joining us here on the Goldeyes Show. This episode is brought to you by the Common down inside the Forks. We had a great chance to catch up with one of the newer acquisitions for the Goldeyes. His first time in Winnipeg. It's his first year professionally playing AA ball. Cody Young will talk about a difference in change playing in Tennessee as opposed to Winnipeg and what he brings to the organization as a rookie this upcoming season. We then had a chance to catch up with Kevin McGovern in between preparations for tonight's game as we discussed the veteran qualities he brings to the team and relationships, being one of the veterans of the team and developing that with catchers as well as off the field with his brand new bride. They got married this past spring. So Kevin was able to sit down and explain the importance of those relationships as well as how the Goldeyes got off to such a quick, good start this season, having won 3 of their series thus far. And then our second best seat of the house segment with my friend and my boy, Steve Schuster. We'll talk about how he prepares for games that are on the road and the games that are here in Shaw Park. And we'll talk about his perspectives on what he sees and just how the Goldeyes have just only scratched the surface thus far. This is the Goldeyes Show here on ASTV.
If you take the first mortgage you're offered, a high interest rate could take your travel budget and send it packing. Before you choose a mortgage, take a second look. Get serious about your mortgage. Contact Caisse Financial Group today. If you take the biggest mortgage you can get, you might find your budget can't support other important costs, like buying furniture. Don't let your mortgage weigh you down. Get serious about your mortgage. Contact Caisse Financial Group today.
Welcome to the Goldeyes Show. Theo Tutkaluk here with Amateur Sports TV, talking with the new catcher beside me, Cody Young. Cody, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
How do you like Winnipeg so far in this short bit of time you've been with the club?
It's an awesome city. Kind of reminds me of home. A little bit cleaner, but it's pretty sweet.
So home is where?
Memphis, Tennessee.
Memphis, Tennessee. So were you playing out in Memphis when you were growing up? What was the position you grew up playing catcher?
Third, and then converted to a catcher.
How did you convert from the hot corner to behind the plate?
In high school, I played a lot of third, and then when I came to college, I just strapped on the gear and kind of liked it a lot, so stuck with it.
So do you have people have like a walk count or how many steps they take? Do you count how many times you have to do a squat during games back and forth?
No.
That's the one thing I could never do as a catcher.
No.
Like I played third base, squatting up and down like that, man, forget it. I'm done after 2 innings. Call the reliever and I'm done. So not a lot of practice behind the plate, only 1 AB so far, but I mean your role backing up and being a part of the Goldeyes. What have you noticed about the chemistry in the club itself this year? How positive it's been with such a great start, winning the first 3 series here in early AA ball?
Yeah, these guys are unbelievable. The clubhouse, the chemistry, everybody gets along. Some of the nicest guys I've ever met. They've embraced me since the first day I got here with open arms. I couldn't be happier to have these guys as my teammates.
So how many years have you been playing ball, and how many years professionally, I guess, after college?
This is my first professional team to be a part of.
And where was college played at?
My last college was Bryan College, which is an NAIA, right outside of Chattanooga, Tennessee.
So you were pretty close to home playing in your college years?
A little bit.
A little bit?
Yeah, I was in the same state.
Same state at least. I mean, Tennessee's not the bigger ones like Texas or Alaska.
Yeah, no.
Okay, cool. So the weather's obviously not nicer now for you. You're getting to enjoy some of that beautiful summer weather now.
Yep.
Don't have to play in those 12-degree double rainout days like the weekend.
I'm excited.
Excited, good. Couple of personal questions. Growing up, third base, catcher, who did you emulate growing up and wanting to play your game most like when you were becoming a professional?
Even though I didn't catch, I always liked Yachty. Playing third. When I was really young, I liked Scott Rowland. That's a little back there, but
wow,
but
Scott Rowland.
When I was younger, yeah.
Wow. Okay. People don't. He played with the Cardinals. Am I right?
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't know who Scott Rowland is. I mean, that's not one of those famous top 20 guys.
No, but when I was little, I was a big Cardinals fan, so he was just always there. So.
Right on. What part of your game do you think you'll bring to the Goldeyes this year that's going to really impress them and move them? That clutch hitting, that solid backstop. What kind of game do you play?
Probably just being a solid defender and being a good teammate, picking these guys up whenever they need me.
Fabulous. So do you throw off that pick off the second base? Are you throwing from your knees like Pudge? Or are you getting up and whipping it hard?
I'm a stand-up.
Stand-up?
Stand-up.
Okay. All right. So hopefully we get to see you in the uniform soon.
Yep.
Pre-game meals, whatever the clubhouse serves, or is it
pre-game meal.
You got a favorite hydrating drink of choice, perhaps?
Coconut water.
Coconut water.
Yeah.
You won't hear that from many players, but I agree that's one of my favorites as well. I love the coconut water. It's not as sweet, but it provides the electrolytes.
Yeah.
I tell young kids it's like eating 5 bananas in a single serving. So your potassium and your sodium levels are super high. So little guys, coconut water. Cody endorsing it, much like we should do all the time. Thanks for being on the show with us, Cody.
Thank you very much.
Really appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Goldeyes taking on Game 2 with Gary. Start 7:05. This interview is brought to you by The Common at the Inn at the Forks. Go check them out just after the game. Love to see you guys at Shaw Park. Thanks, Cody, very much. We'll talk to you soon.
Appreciate it.
Cool.
Thank you very much.
Good job, man. Don't forget that mic.
Are you looking for a career in the salon industry? Check out Aveda Institute Winnipeg in the Exchange. What sets us apart is our student mentorship program, 95% placement rate after graduation, real-world salon experience, and network of 7,000 salons and spas. You will learn creative cut and coloring, latest trends and techniques, social media marketing, fashion shows, photo shoots, and more. Now accepting applications for 2018, so check us out and book your tour today. Aveda Institute Winnipeg. Hair school the way it should be.
Back to the show. Theo Tutkaluk here on the Goldeyes Show with starting pitcher Kevin McGovern. The right-handed side is got 8 pitchers, 4 on the left, so a lot of dominance on the right side of the pitching mound, correct?
Yep, yeah, definitely.
So Kevin, I got to ask you, how many years have you been with the Goldeyes, and how much do you love Winnipeg now that you're married here?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, this is my 4th year playing with Winnipeg, and it's definitely a city that's kind of taken to me almost immediately, and I love the small town feel, even though it feels like a big city at the same time. And you know, it just feels like a great place to play, and our fans, you know, depending on whatever sport it is, you know, they're all in for it, and that's definitely something I can relate to coming from Philadelphia, and you know, it's definitely a second home to me, and I love being here.
So real quick on the personal side, you got married last summer. 2 summers ago?
No, I got married a few months ago.
A few months ago?
Right before this season coming up.
Okay, so a few months ago, married here downtown. We won't mention the place. But a local girl.
Yeah.
You had some of your family come from Philly, your friends come from Philly. Was it their first time here in Winnipeg for most of them, or was it something that they got to experience prior to?
No, this is their first time ever in Winnipeg. They always come out to a lot of the road games whenever I'm near like the Chicago area on the East Coast, and it was the first time seeing Winnipeg in general, and I got a chance to show them the ballpark a little bit and just show them around town about all the places I like going, and you know, got a chance to meet her family, which was a huge deal, and it was a great time.
Awesome. So you're now on the married side of things.
Yeah.
4th year with the Goldeyes. Do you remember the first couple of days when you first came to the club? How excited you were? Do you remember what it was feeling like coming into Shaw Park those first days?
I definitely felt a lot of nerves. I was pretty nervous coming in because I was traded for a big name guy like Luis Allen, who was the catcher here for so long, and it didn't feel like I had to fill shoes, but I just felt like I didn't know anybody here, and I kind of had to prove myself all over again. And it took a few weeks just to get everything going and to just kind of relax and trust that I was good enough to play here. And after we started winning a lot, it just got really exciting, and 2016 was a great year.
You had 2 seasons where you went back-to-back championships. Last year, you missed out on that strikeout lead by just 1, having 130 on the year, which is pretty formidable. Nonetheless, you are now considered like the stalwart on the right side, the starting pitching group. What kind of leadership qualities do you bring to the rest of the pitching staff, at least?
I'm really laid back when it comes to a lot of things. I think Rick runs a great club here that he trusts their guys, and when he brings them in, he just trusts that they're going to be professional. And I just kind of go with whatever he's saying, and just you know, make sure I get all of my stuff done, and I'm really open to. I'm big with coming in with the rookies that were coming in here, because my first years playing in this league, it was really nerve-wracking, and I fell out of place, and I didn't know where to go or where to be, and it was really, I had a few guys that came up to me that kind of put me under their wing, and it really helped me out getting comfortable here. And that's what I try to do with the rookies is, you know, kind of act goofy and not be too much of a presence or quiet, and just kind of have fun, and they kind of let their guard down. And once we start having a lot more fun, a lot of nerves kind of go away, and you know, winning baseball definitely comes.
Winning baseball definitely makes the nerves a lot easier to handle.
This year especially, you've gone into 3 series and you've won all 3 series, 2 on the road and the 1 at home. You're in the middle of the one with Gary right now. What have you has been impressive the most with both the pitching and the hitting here that manager Forney's been able to put together at the beginning of this season?
I think consistency has been a big key. I think pitching-wise, guys like Cooney and French coming in that, this is their first times here, and some of these guys weren't starting pitchers before, and it's definitely a role that they're stepping into, and having a guy like Kevin Garcia behind the plate guiding them through it, they're definitely putting out great starts that really help solidify the games moving forward. And defense-wise, it's been so consistent that it makes it easier to win those close games, which I think was the thing that was tough last year. Was anytime, just like yesterday, where there's bases loaded and we need to have a guy come in and make a great play, and then a double play kind of clears the inning, and then we go on to win the game. It just kind of pushes ourselves to stay consistent like that and not try to do too much.
Absolutely. We talk about relationships off the field, your relationship on the field with your catchers. How important is that as a pitcher? Like your signs, your calls, making sure you're on the same page. How important is that for calling a game?
It's probably the most important thing in any part of pitching wise is just being comfortable with the catcher. And I've had a lot of catchers behind the plate before, and you definitely feel that difference. And usually anytime when I have a good game, the first thing I'm going to acknowledge is how well the catcher was with me. And Kevin's been a great part. And I know I had a strong early half last year, and that's because Kevin was healthy and Kevin was calling games great. And I think that it's definitely overlooked, especially for starting pitching, because that's a lot of innings to go out there instead of one guy coming in and throwing as hard as he can. And guys like Crescentini that are pitching unbelievably, it's really nice to come in and just power those fastballs by. But when I have to try to work 5, 6, 7 innings every time with him, it's definitely, there's ebb and flows, and staying consistent and kind of help fire me up is a big part for Kevin, and it's definitely something that helps the team.
You mentioned ebbs, flows, consistency. I mean, it's a different mindset when you're throwing 7, 8 innings, and you're doing very well this year. 1 decision, 2-0. Your ERA less than 2. I mean, that's a great start, and it's great to lead by that example for the starting pitching staff. I got to ask you a couple of funny questions now, Kevin, to kind of lighten this up a little bit.
Okay.
So what did you prefer, the chicken or the fish during the wedding?
I don't even think I got a chance to eat during that wedding, but I think I got the fish just to change it up. But I know the wife went for the chicken. We just kind of shared it, being really corny like that.
Okay. Growing up, I always ask ball players or any type of sports player, who did you emulate growing up? I mean, were you always a pitcher? Did you always like watching fast throwers? Or was there someone like a positional player that you kind of wanted to be when you were growing up?
Growing up, definitely I loved hitting the ball, and that was something I played 2A in college all the way up until my senior year. So I definitely missed swinging the bat. But Chase Utley was a big part for the Phillies, and I remember following Roy Halladay's steps. He was just such a workhorse that I learned a lot of things right before becoming a professional baseball player. Watching him play in Philly and watching him with the Jays was such a big deal for me, knowing that you have to be professional and you have to work really hard to get to where you're at. And it's something that you don't ever try to take the easy road, and that's something that I try to realize every time I go out there.
Workhorse and Halliday are almost synonymous with each other, and you yourself, you've done such a great job here being that workhorse for the starting pitching staff here. Thank you, Kevin, for joining me. I don't see the ABs on your stat sheet. Maybe manager Forney might let you swing a bat when it's a little bit out of hand, perhaps. We'll never know, but we'll see what happens, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Right on. So there's a game tonight, 7:05, and there's a game tomorrow morning, 11 a.m., and the boys head on the road for a quick 2. Then they come back for a 7, so check it up all on www.goldeyes.com or hit up their Facebook or Twitter. This interview is brought to you by the Common at the Forks. Thanks for joining us, Kevin.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
At Collins Hotel, we have you and your family's comfort in mind. Relax in one of our 16 suites featuring king or queen size beds and 36-inch TVs. Suites also include a mini fridge and other kitchen appliances to make your stay as comfortable as possible. During your stay in Pilot Mound, visit Weiser's Restaurant, our attached family-friendly restaurant and bar. It is the perfect location to host group meals, dine with the family, or unwind after a hockey game. Come in and meet our friendly staff offering daily specials on food and drinks, Wing Night Wednesdays, Buffet Fridays, and multiple TVs to watch the game. Weiser's is the place to be. Collins Hotel and Weiser's Restaurant and Bar, located across the street from Blackjack Stewart Arena off Highway 3 in Pilot Mound. Welcome back to the Goldeyes Show. We decided to do this next segment with my boy Steve Schuster from the second best seat in the house, and that's what we called the first one. Welcome to the show, Steve. Thanks for joining me for a couple minutes. I know you get crazy busy when it's home games because you only have so much time to deal with home games, getting them prepared, making sure everything's proper, and then you get to go on the road. Do you find it easier for you to be on the road or at home?
Yeah, it's a great question, and you kind of hit the nail right on the head there. Thanks for having me, Theo, by the way. But it is, like, for me personally, easier on the road because you just kind of have to focus on that game, that particular night. You know, when you're home, you've got to worry about, fielding media requests, a lot of stuff that kind of goes on associated with the home games. It's a little more chaotic when you're in Winnipeg, and it's not just for me. I think that goes for all the radio broadcasters or media relations people around the American Association. So love being home, obviously, love the crowds, love the people in Winnipeg, but from just a standpoint of maybe catching your breath, I enjoy going on the road.
So it's a little bit of enjoyment to be on the team. We're on the road with the team. Tell me now, I mean, obviously the first 3 series, we've won all 3 series. The team is hitting well at the right times. We're pitching great. We're putting the 2 and 2 together. You said to me earlier before or off the air, we've barely scratched the surface. What do you mean by that when you talk about this Goldeyes team?
Yeah, Rick Fournier's talked about wanting to see some improvements in terms of like the situational hitting. So the huge positive I think right now of the offense is that they're leading the league in walks by a really wide margin, which is a positive thing. You're wearing down the opposing pitching staff. You're getting to the bullpens a lot quicker, and it's free base runners. You're constantly putting traffic on the bases. The team average with runners on base and runners in scoring position maybe not where they would like it to be, but I'll take all those walks in the long run because I think once these guys maybe get their legs under them, especially with the cold weather we had over the weekend, it might take 50, 75 at bats for some of these guys to really find their rhythm at the plate. And once they do, if they keep getting on base at the clip that they're getting on base at right now, I think it's going to be pretty scary.
It's a hitting by committee, so to speak, kind of thing so far with this team. And LaChance is still hitting 452, so he's nipping that 500 mark. And Josh is above 315 right now, too. And everyone's kind of helping out where they need. It's the situational hitting that we've talked about prior to. What about the pitching, and especially the starting pitching? We talked to Kevin earlier today. How impressive have him and Lampson and the other guys been? I mean, those guys have been able to get 6, 7 solid innings, and then the hurlers after him are throwing 90s. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch, and that's been another kind of like baby step in the right direction. When they started in Texas, Kevin went 7 the first night, then Mitch went 6, and then there was kind of a stretch where there were about 5 inning starts there, and as Rick said, that's understandable. It's early on, you're trying to get stretched out to a point where you feel comfortable going 110 pitches, and these last 2 nights or last 2 games, you had Kevin going 7 innings on Sunday, kind of in a big way when you had the doubleheader and a quick turnaround with the day game, and then Mitch pitches into the 7th last night. So back-to-back games, they've been able to get a couple of deep starts. So not only have those 2 guys been effective when they've been out there, but it's also helped rest a couple bullpen guys along the way.
Let's talk about Mitch quick about last night's game. I mean, he was a bit of a nail burner kind of thing. First inning, bases loaded, and he's able to get out of that. How does that do for a pitcher's psyche, do you think, knowing that he's got his team surrounding him defensively and he's able to get out of those jams, and then, like you said, pitch going into the 7th?
Well, it's huge, and he said it after the game that both he and all the other pitchers are really excited about the defense that Rick Fournier and Tom Bath have put together this year. That was maybe the biggest point of emphasis after the tough season the team had last year. There were a lot of things that kind of went wrong, unfortunately, in 2018, but the defense was near the bottom of the league, and not just the infield, but the outfield defense, and Kevin Garcia coming back, hopefully healthy for the full season. That this team, they have plus defenders at every position. So if you get into a bases loaded jam like Mitch did in the first inning, you still feel confident that if I can just get something close to the plate, let them put it in play, that the defense more often than not is going to get the job done.
Absolutely. So Goldeyes, couple of transactions over the last week. Cody Sharp coming in to help Garcia behind the plate. We saw who else was let go this past week?
Yeah, so Cody Young came in, the rookie catcher, was in college at Bryan College in Tennessee a couple of years ago. Came off a really good offensive year. He actually made his pro debut on Sunday in left field. He's played some outfield and third base, but he's right now, his role right now is to be kind of the understudy for Kevin Garcia. He's got a really good attitude, a really nice kid, so excited to have him on board. Jack Charleston was traded to the Can-Am League's Quebec Capitale, so we wish him the best of luck. He did a tremendous job for the Goldeyes the last couple of years, and we're excited tonight, the Wednesday game against the Railcats. We've signed a Winnipegger, first Winnipeg-born Goldeyes player since Donnie Smith's last year, which was 13 years ago. Ryan Johnson coming off a stellar college career at Lubbock Christian University, and he will make his pro debut tonight in his hometown, so hopefully he'll have a lot of family and friends in attendance.
From Lubbock, Texas, back to Winnipeg. I mean, what impresses you? Have you seen him pitch yet? And if so, what impresses you the most? And what should fans come out and watch to see this young Winnipeg hurler do?
Yeah, so I haven't had the opportunity to see him yet. Rick saw him a few days ago in a bullpen and liked what he saw and was just kind of waiting for the opportunity to bring him on the roster. But the Lubbock Christian University, it's a really good college program. The Heartland Conference, it's a good conference down south in the U.S. And he was the conference pitcher of the year this past spring. So I think it speaks volumes to what he was able to do. It's obviously a big jump from college to the professional ranks, but you really can't ask for him, I think personally, to have a better situation where you get to make your pro debut in your hometown for your hometown team. So I think it's just a really cool situation.
I'm sure there'll be nerves. I'm sure there'll be some excitement, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of family and friends in the stands for him. And it's a good night, good weather, beautiful sunshine outside. I mean, you check it out. Probably is the second best seat in the house, really, Steve. I mean, you get to call all your games from here. Does it ever get bored?
Never.
Good.
I'm real. I have no complaints, is what I always say.
I mean, I've been up here several times with you in the last couple of years, only because of what we do outside of this place. But I mean, the bottom line is it's a great venue. It's a great place to watch the game. Tonight's game, 7:05 starting pitch, and then tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. And then they go on the road for a couple of games, right?
Yeah, just 3 games in Sioux Falls. We're back at home actually on Monday for another homestand. So plenty of opportunities. Should have some great weather. So looking forward to seeing everybody at the park.
Come and check out your Goldeyes. Schedule is available on their website, as is ours, or on Twitter as well. So come and check out the Goldeyes tonight. Hometown hurler, Mr. Johnson, showing off his pro league debut, and it should be a lot of bats. The ball should be flying today. 28 degrees. What do you think? Maybe just some dingers?
So, if it's warm, the ball usually carries, so we'll see.
Especially here in Winnipeg. I've always said, if you can't quite see it, but maybe outside of right field, they should have some sort of a Goldeye fish. Like they see in Bull Durham, if you hit the bull, you get a free steak. I've always said we should have a Goldeye out there, so whoever hits the Goldeye gets a free Goldeye dinner or something. But then again, you got to find a restaurant that's going to sponsor that. But anyway, speaking of sponsors, I'd like to thank the comment at the Forks for this interview. Second best seat in the house with Steve Schuster. This is Theo Tutkaluk with the Goldeyes Show. Thanks for joining us.